Welcome to the Y'all Need Music podcast. I'm Matt,
And I'm Jesse.
and we're back again for another episode. And before we jump into things, um,
What you got?
I'm just gonna tell the people things,
Tell the people what they want,
the peoples.
what they
Hey,
want to
so
hear.
we are always huge proponents of buying artist merch. We've talked about it more times than I could count, and we do it. We put our money where our mouth is, but we were talking, Jesse and I, and it's like, you know what we should do? We're pretty good about rocking our own merch, but a lot of times we don't rock artist merch on the podcast, and so
Shame on
in
you.
and you, it's both of us. We're both guilty of it.
Are
We've
you
both done
sure?
it, but
My hat's always backwards, so you can never tell. Maybe I
yes,
do.
you're a liar. So at any rate, we were talking about it. It was like, listen, you know what? We need to start doing that. And one, it's kind of showing support for the artists that we like, and two, it's maybe a way to encourage you guys to spend some of your coin to show the artists some love and
Yeah,
that
especially
actually.
these up and coming artists. When you go and see them at a smaller show, and you know they them smaller venues, they don't pay the bus gas and all that. So they rely heavily on that merch sales to kind of help them, you know, keep
Yeah,
doing what they're doing.
and most of them are making more on their merch honestly than they are on their streaming,
Right.
because streams
Streaming
pay
don't
you
pay nothing.
pennies,
Right.
so you got to have millions and millions and millions of views to buy a dozen eggs. So
Right.
so the merch definitely is a big thing for artists, and so we're going to start doing that on all the episodes. We're going to be supporting artists by wearing their merch on the podcast. So today I'm rocking a Sadie Bass hat, and Jesse,
Matthew.
you're rocking.
Oh. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can see that.
The light's too bright. Oh wait, there it is. There it is.
Little Waylon Handle, baby.
And I'm rocking the Whalen Handle koozie.
And
And
I'm
Jesse's.
rocking Sadie Bass.
So ironically, I got the hat and a different koozie, and he's got the hat that matches my koozie, and the koozie that matches my hat.
So we kind of talked about this on our live that we did last Thursday when we went and saw the wonderful Miss Ella Langley. And during the pre-game show where we were pre-gaming beforehand, that's when we were kind of talking about like, hey, we should wear some of our merch and stuff. And so every time before the podcast, we always get on, since I live in Mount Pleasant and Matt's up in Petoskey. So when we get to see each other virtually like this, I was like, hey, look at your hat you're wearing right there. And he's like, did you forget about it? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I spin my hat around. He's like, you son of a bitch, you did remember. And then I was like, that's awesome. I was like, watch this. And I always have a koozie in my back pocket, no matter what pants, shorts, anything that I'm wearing. I always rock a koozie. And I was like, let me show you. And I'm like, I don't even have to tell you which one it is. And I pulled the Sadie Bass one out, and he was like, huh, that's funny. And he pulls his Waylon Handle koozie up. So this was not pre-planned, minus the fact that we talked about possibly wearing like a t-shirt or a hat or something. So
Once
we,
again, proving that Jesse is the yin to my yang.
we've talked about it many times before. I'm always rocking no sleeves. Matt has sleeves. His hat's always forward. Mine's always backwards. So, I'm young and handsome, and he looks like Santa Claus. Old Santa Claus.
I disagree. Some
Yeah,
might
you need a
say it.
little
Some
fuller
might
in
say
this.
that I'm a silver fox.
Yeah, some.
Yeah. Well,
The,
probably not
the,
a fox. Maybe like a silver koala or
A
maybe
silver trash panda.
maybe just a panda in general.
Yes, but anyhow, yes, people definitely buy the merch when you go see these artists. It helps them more than you possibly know. And a lot of times, I mean, there are some stuff that gets a little pricey, but I mean, koozies, usually any artist, you can get a koozie for about $5. A hat is usually about 20, $30, which any hat nowadays is probably around that, price. So
Stickers
yep,
you can usually get for a couple bucks.
yep. Stickers,
But
posters, you can get posters for usually 10, 15. So,
I think I paid 30 for the Ella poster.
oh, did ya?
Yeah. I went through a lot of money that night that I'm not really remembering all of, but that's another story for another day. Uh, but you don't even have to go to the shows to support these artists with their merch. I know I'm way more into watching lives than Jesse is, and a lot of times artists will be selling their
Some
merch.
people have jobs where they're like actually working, not just sitting in front of a computer, like watching lives while they're
I don't
supposed to be working.
I don't do it at work. It's at home after work.
Oh,
So when I'm up at night, and Megan's already crashed out at 8:00, and I'm on a live on like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
like, I ain't
midnight.
tired until 11 midnight.
Right. So a lot of these artists sell their merch on their lives, though.
Yep.
And I actually have a shirt en route from a friend of ours in Nashville that I've got a feeling you guys are going to get to see more of him on the podcast this year. But I'll certainly be rocking that shirt as soon as it gets here on a podcast as well. So,
yeah, make sure you guys also for our followers out there, we're starting to get a little more technical savvy, and we've been doing a couple TikTok lives. We found out that we can go live on TikTok. I didn't know that when you go live on TikTok that it actually doesn't like load it to TikTok so you can watch it later, which might be a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Because I'm like, I want to see what some of those comments were, or I want to see what you actually said, and I can't go back and watch it. So
it'll save some highlight clips.
okay,
I did find those, but you don't get the comments with them.
right.
And
But yeah, make sure you guys, if you're familiar with TikTok lives, and I'm pretty sure you can set like a reminder or something that when somebody goes live, it alerts you.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah, I've got them set for several artists.
Yeah. So for you guys, if you want to go onto our TikTok and do that, hit the little follow button or notification, because we went live from the Ella Langley concert this past Thursday, which was awesome. And then what was it, last week or the week prior to, we went live for like the first time. We went live a few times that day, but we had an artist that we've had on the podcast from prior jump on, and we had a little mini concert, and he actually played a couple of his new songs that he has not even recorded yet, right on the podcast. So for anybody that was joining us for that, got a little live show, and we're hoping to kind of keep that going with some of these artists that we've had on, if they jump on and see, because we can invite them onto it. So make sure you guys are checking that stuff out. Sorry.
And while you're on the socials, while you're on the socials, don't forget we've still got a contest going on right now. We're taking a pair of people, one set of tickets. So one winner gets 2 tickets to a show. You got to watch our last podcast to know what artist we said that we were taking you to the show for. And so if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. If you have watched it and you remember who we said we were going to be taking you to see, just comment on the TikToks, the Facebooks, Instagram. Each one of them will get you an entry, and we're going to draw somebody to give them a couple of tickets and go to a show with us.
Not just a show, a great show. So you guys don't want to miss this one. So
absolutely. So with all of the housekeeping, we'll call that, out of the way.
Housekeeping.
You
want me to fluff below?
At any rate, this episode is another artist spotlight. Would love to say new artist. While she may be new to many of you, she is not new
Nope.
by the sense of those terms. She's actually been around, and you may have seen or heard of her going back to her days on. I'm drawing a blank now. Was not Idol? Was The Voice?
The Voice.
Yeah, I almost said that. I was like, why is Idol stuck in my head? And it's not Idol. So back to The Voice was on Team Kelly, and
Season 16.
correct. And matter of fact, she was how old on season 16?
She was 16 at the time.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so this artist spotlight is actually our first female artist spotlight that we've done since we started the artist spotlight series. We've talked about a lot of female artists since we've been rocking and rolling with this. And she's actually the first artist spotlight we've done, specifically dedicated to a singular artist, in that realm of things. So this episode is about drum roll.
That's the
Presley Tennant.
Ba-boom. Presley Tennant, Norco, California native.
Yep. Horsetown, USA,
for anybody that doesn't know, which I always thought that was kind of funny that Horsetown, USA was in California as opposed to like Texas, or Oklahoma or something, Montana.
Yeah. Kentucky's a lot of horses too. So, I mean, there's probably people in Kentucky that are like, what do you mean Horsetown's in California?
Right. So whereabouts is Norco, California from the California dude?
Southern.
Southern?
Yeah.
How far away from where you grew up?
God, if I had to guess, I would say 5 hours.
Oh, okay. So you didn't know her then?
No.
She wasn't even a glimmer in her daddy's eye when you were back in California.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that, she's probably my kid's age.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, yeah, she's only 20 years old right now. So,
yeah. So I've actually got kids older than her.
Yeah.
So, no, didn't know who she was. Especially since I moved from California before she would have been born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how old he is,
Yeah.
I probably would have went to like college with her and something.
You got some streaks in your...
It's bad lighting.
Is it? It's weird.
Yeah. That's why you couldn't read the hat.
It's here too. Can we do a side profile?
I just don't want you to feel out of place. This is still some residual from when I dress up as Santa Claus at Christmas and we spray it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Didn't quite wash out, but anywho, back to the lady of the hour or half hour, however long this segment's going to be, Presley Tennant. So she came across our radar about last year, I want to say. Maybe it was right around the time that we were transitioning from that first podcast that we started into this podcast, and came across, and it was actually her
fall
song.
Of 23.
What was that?
I think it was fall of 23 when we came across her.
Okay.
We started the music one early 24.
Okay. So then, yeah. But yeah, her song, which really caught my attention, it's called Gamble on You. She recorded that song in 2022. And where like the voice got me, and I don't know what I was listening to, but it like popped through, and it was like, I thought it was Christina Aguilera singing. Like that song has like a Moulin Rouge like feel to it. And kind of like Christina Aguilera has that powerhouse voice. That was like where I was like, huh, who's this?
Right.
And then kind of dug in a little bit deeper. And, when I first seen her, which her hair color is a little bit different, but when I first seen a picture of her, she had blonde hair, and she kind of gave me that Matt's hat, that Sadie Bass kind of look to her, long, very, long blonde hair and everything. And so I was like, okay. So kind of like put two and two together, little Christina Aguilera, look of Sadie Bass. And then that's when we kind of dug in a little bit deeper and started listening to, more of her stuff and everything. So she definitely has other songs out besides just that one. That was just the one that kind of got me hooked.
Yeah. So I mean, she put out a number of songs in 2024. She's certainly,
She's
um,
busy.
yeah, she's growing, pretty substantially since first popping up on our radar,
Yeah.
uh, including a pretty awesome experience already this year. And she was invited to sing the national anthem at the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. Which was like completely crazy. And Presley, if you're watching this, I apologize. I love NFL and I love football, but the Pro Bowl has gotten to one of those, flag football leagues where I don't even tune in for the Pro Bowl. That's kind of like the Sunday or Saturday that I don't watch football on. So I was so bummed that I actually missed her singing that. So
Now, see, and I watch a lot of so like it's not like the old Pro Bowl game for sure. Like I
mm-hmm.
totally get that, but I love like the skills competition part of
Yes, I
it,
watched those. Yep, I
and
watched those.
so I still find it to be pretty enjoyable. And she's you know definitely killed it. Did a phenomenal job with the national anthem. Matter of fact, Jesse caught something that I didn't, and was trying to put the video up on here, but for some reason the audio was getting a little sketchy
Yeah,
when I did that. But Jesse caught
super cool.
while she's singing the national anthem, she hits a high note, and the camera's kind of panning the players, and Jared Goff's just kind of sitting there, and then
Yeah,
it's like.
he's kind of a lot of players, in the national anthem. He's kind of like head down, just kind of feeling and everything. And it's right when she gets to, and the Rockets red glare, and like I was talking, like that powerhouse voice.
Sounded way better than that.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. You can go onto her TikTok and watch it. But yeah, Jared Goff, which is awesome because we're Michiganders and go Lions. His head's kind of down like this, feeling it, and all of a sudden she hits that, and he head jerks up, and then he looks up to like the Megatron or the big screen to see like her singing, and it was kind of like one of those like, oh shit, this girl's got some pipes on her.
Damn girl.
So super cool that that Jared Goff was the one that had that reaction. I'm sure there were a bunch of people that had that reaction, but they just happened to show him at the time.
Right.
It was like, hell yeah. So very cool for her.
Definitely good stuff. She's got a ton of music out. Like I said, if you check her out on Spotify, she's got, over 10,000 monthly listeners on
Yep.
Spotify, tons and tons of streams. TikTok is
big TikTok, yeah.
is probably where I see her a ton at. And she's got, over 350,000 followers on TikTok, pushing higher and higher, regularly.
Yep. Looks like Instagram. She's got about 64,000 followers on Instagram. But yeah, I mean, she's got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X.
Yeah, and Instagram, like to have 60,000 followers is huge, and a lot of times I think TikTok probably skewed so much of that, right? You see somebody and it's like, well, if you got 370,000 followers on TikTok, how do you only have 60,000 on Instagram?
Right.
Instagram is so hard to get followers on.
Right.
And TikTok,
especially if you're a singer, because unless you're doing a reel on there, it's just usually a lot of pictures, So
yep. But the platform in general, I think TikTok has gotten, I mean, look at Bear Bailey, who we've had on the podcast, and he's got 4 million followers on TikTok, or 5 million, something like that. What does he have on Instagram? I mean, if you were to pull that up real quick, I don't have my Instagram open, but it's nowhere near that. You know, he doesn't even have 1 million on Instagram.
Or Facebook was pretty low too in a equivalent to the number of people he had on TikTok.
Right. So she's definitely climbing. I think her most recent single, which has been kind of blowing up, "Love You with the Lights On,"
Mm-hmm. Yep.
has been getting a ton of play all over the place. She's got dates. Most of her tour dates, I know that she's got coming up through like May, are all kind of in the Southwest.
Right. Texas, Southwest area,
I
California.
think it's all like Arizona, California, and Vegas, maybe, if my memory serves me correctly. But
Arizona, California, Vegas, Fresno.
yep.
A lot of California, Vegas, and Arizona.
And listen, if you were in Michigan right now, you would probably understand why she's in the Southwest right now.
Right.
No, nobody wants to be here when it's
No.
cold, when you can
No.
be playing shows, especially because those are probably outdoor shows, even, this time of
Oh
year.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, because they're probably got nice weather out there. So
yeah, 70 degrees, 80 degrees.
yeah,
Beautiful day for a show.
oh yeah. I remember last year, the year before, when we saw May Estes at the intersection with Jackson Dean, and it was our first time in Michigan. And I remember it was a February, right before the warm up, and it was bitter cold that day. I remember standing in line, and we all had our jackets and everything on, and
freezing.
Still freezing. And she was like, "Yeah, it's my first time in Michigan," and she's like, "I don't know how you guys do it here." Like, so yeah, we don't blame you for not coming to the Midwest during the winter time for shows, but hopefully once summer starts rolling around and Michigan becomes beautiful, then maybe she expands a little bit and hits the Midwest.
Yeah, she should. I mean, she's got us as fans.
Yeah.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. Yep.
So, we're going to show up, right?
Yep.
So at any rate, make sure you guys are on checking out her socials. She's, like I said, she's really active on TikTok. I know she's also active on Instagram and Facebook as well, but I think she's more active on TikTok than she is on the other platforms. Maybe it's just because I am and I see her there more. I could be wrong, but she's regularly posting new videos. She does a lot of lives.
Yeah. Her YouTube's pretty good too. I've watched quite a few of like her videos, like music videos that she's done already, and you can get a lot of that stuff. Like I went back and you got to see her perform on The Voice. She actually performed with Kelly Clarkson because of you on her 17th birthday. So she was she was 16 turning 17, and she got to perform with Kelly Clarkson. So pretty sweet. And I got to, you can find that on, I think there was clips on her TikTok of that, but on her YouTube channel, you got to go back and see that. So super cool.
Yeah. And she's played with some huge names already. Not only Kelly Clarkson, but she's played with Tim McGraw. She's played with Cole Swindell, Blake Shelton, Carly Pierce, and Cody Johnson. Absolutely. And I actually just recently saw she had posted a video. She did a cover of a Carly Pierce song and absolutely killed it.
Oh yeah.
So, this is not just like some random person that, we just picked up on, and we may have those people on the podcast too. So like, no judgment to that at all, but like, she's definitely, turning heads and making a name for herself for sure. She's working with, Grammy nominated songwriters, not just sitting out back somewhere, like making shit up as she goes.
Right. That Grammy nominated songwriter, he's done cuts for like Faith Hill, Jason Aldean, so very prominent songwriter, and she's working, hand in hand with them. So she's definitely got her foot in the door, and we're expecting big things coming forward for her, and really hope that she gets the credit that she deserves, because definitely one of those powerhouse voices that, you know, kind of like Carrie Underwood too, you know, just can belt out, you know, them high note, not just high notes, but just
Yeah,
strong
the
voice.
melodies are there, you know, and
Yeah.
the screwy thing is the music industry is so freaking weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could see her blowing up this year, just absolutely killing it. Uh, but it's also one of those things where she might like just kind of sit there and simmer and percolate, you know, for another year or something,
Right.
and then blow up. You
Right.
know, it's the music industry is it's literally you're one song away from everything changing,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I mean, and it could be a song that you've had for a while, you've been sitting on and decide to put out. It could be something that you just, you know, sit down and scratch out with some friends. Like I always got a kick out of that story. When Florida Georgia Line and Chase Rice and his brother wrote Cruise,
Yep.
and they were writing something else, and
Mm-hmm.
they took a break from writing that because they were just kind of stuck.
Yep.
And 30 minutes later, they had written Cruise just by goofing around, basically,
Yeah. Yeah.
which turned into a massive hit, and ultimately gave Chase Rice the money he needed to put out his own album,
Yeah.
from moving there, you know, moving to Nashville to just start writing songs. So
Yeah.
uh, anything can happen in music,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
you know, or you
Well,
could
it's
be the
just
Chris Jansen type that sits there and grinds it for 10 years, you know,
mm-hmm.
before it finally happens. So
Right. Ella
if you,
Langley, she was in Nashville for 7 years, got turned down for American Idol how many times, and just stuck to it and ground, and then all of a sudden, boom, one song hits, and next thing you know, she's a megastar that she deserves to be. So
yeah, you just, it's one of those things you never know. And
yeah.
so, you know, while we could be wrong on Presley Tennant, I would argue that our track record is pretty solid actually, and really those Nashville record labels should probably be paying us
Right.
to find them artists,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we, you know, we were on Ella Langley before she blew up. We were on May Estes, and she's blowing up from when we saw her to the end of 2024. She just absolutely skyrocketed and is
Yeah.
going to continue that in 2025. So,
Sadie
you know,
Bass is one of them that she's right on the cusp right now of, you know, did a whole crazy tour last year, hitting all these huge festivals, and you know the major ones,
yeah,
Tortuga, Faster Horses, you know, Rock the Country, all them, to where, you know, she's right on that cusp right now too. So yeah, quite a few people that we've been on
talked
board with for
about.
a while, talked about. So
Yeah,
definitely one that you guys are going to want to check out, and make your opinion for yourself. But this is one of those opinions that if you don't like her, you're wrong.
that's right. Yeah. So, you know, UMG, Warner Nashville, you know, Sony, any of you guys,
Yeah,
if you guys want some real talent scouts, like here's the deal. You cover our tab and our concert tickets. We'll go check out all the shows you want and we'll bring you back the winners because that's what we do.
there you go. Does that mean we get to go to see in Vegas to see Presley?
Yeah. Well, we've already hyped her up, so maybe not, but it's
Yeah,
someday that's the plan, right? Is somebody will pay us to drive around the country and go to shows and, um, you know,
yeah.
record our podcast on the road or mobile studio or what, I don't know, something.
Our own tour bus. I like it.
I feel like that's got a lot of bad ideas written all over it, but you only live once, so why not?
I mean, if we had our own tour bus, for you guys that chimed in 2 weeks ago with our artist spotlight, I might be right in the top of it, chugging a beer like Gavin Adcock.
That's right. That's where we'd get in trouble, like we have
Right,
on most of our TikTok lives.
right. Absolutely.
So yeah, we won't drag this one out too terribly long for you guys. We definitely want to encourage everybody to go check Presley Tennant out. She's got, like I said, I think there was several new songs in 2024. Pick Your Poison, Somebody Like You, and the big one, Love You with the Lights On.
Bad
You know,
Decisions. She also did with Noah West. She did a duet with that's a really good song too. Noah West is guy. He's been in Nashville for a bit, but yeah, that song that came on, and I was like, hell yeah, like I like it. She can
yeah,
duet for sure. So, um, yeah, she put an EP out. I think 6 songs in like 22, and then has just released a few singles here and there. But then, yeah, she just dropped. I don't even think it's called an EP or what it is, but it's like she's got like 4 songs that all kind of came out, boom, 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 in 2024, right there, close to each other.
right. Well, I mean, I know when we talk to Drew Hale, Drew puts out singles, but those singles are all cumulatively building to an
Right.
album. So
Yeah.
this world we live in with social media and digital downloads, has changed how artists put albums out. Where used to be you might get teased a single off of the new album, you wouldn't hear anything else until the full project was done.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
now it's like you guys like Sam Grow put out a new song every month,
Right.
just to keep new music in front of their fans. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different world we live in for sure. But it's nice to have music at your fingertips anywhere you go. So,
Oh, yeah.
when you guys hear this one and you're in your car, put it on Pandora, Spotify, Apple,
Apple Music.
Amazon, whatever you use. Look up Presley Tennant, give her a follow on whichever streaming platform. Subscribe to her YouTube. Go check her out on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever platform is your platform of choice. Make sure you're interacting with her on her socials, and
Yeah, make sure if you guys do interact on the socials, which we definitely encourage, or comment on a song or something like that, make sure you comment, let them know that, y'all need music sent you to check her out. And that way, we get a little shout out. So hopefully, when we do these artist spotlights, the end all goal would be to get them on the podcast and, dig in a little bit deeper with them face to face. So, the more support you guys can give us with these artists, the better shot, since the music industry is a very tough industry to crack into. You don't always, just because you ask and send an email doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to give you the time of day, so.
yeah, we get turned down more on the podcast than Jesse did in college.
I'll let that one slide. I'll let that one slide.
So, yeah, any rate, also make sure you guys keep sharing new artists with us. We had a follower of ours send over some artists to check out here recently, and I was stoked by it. With some great music that I'm digging into now.
Yeah.
And another thing too is like I was just scrolling Facebook, or no, I was on TikTok, and guy that I follow that I'm almost certain, I would say probably 99% certain that we'll have on the podcast by year's end, was just scrolling, stopped on one of his videos, was checking it out, went to comment and see followers of ours commenting in there already before us. And it's like, oh, I know we turned them on to him. So this is awesome. I love seeing that. I was like, woohoo.
Heck yeah. Yeah, and definitely, yeah, make sure you guys are, sharing with us new artists so that way, we can check them out. Actually just had one of our super fans of the podcast, Sarah, I was talking to today, and I actually played a little Presley Tennant for her, and she was digging it, and she threw out another name that we're going to dig into a little bit deeper, of somebody that I listened to a few of her songs. And we're going to dig in a little bit deeper and hopefully have her as one of these new artist spotlights as well here coming in the future. So,
and this is one I'm hearing about at the same time as you guys, so I don't even know who he's talking about yet.
I know. Well, you were talking about sharing people. I hadn't talked to you because, a lot of times in these pre-show meetings, somebody talks a lot and I just sit here and when he tells me what I can and can't say, so I don't get, banned from the TikTok lives like he has 3 times now.
Well, Jake got us banned on one.
You got us banned right before that, and then you got us banned again at the Ella Langley show.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in freedom of speech. So, at least here on the podcast, we can get away with that stuff because Josh Merritt told us that story on the podcast. Literally, all I did was tell the story that he told us on the TikTok live, and they were like, "Boing, you can't do that."
Yep.
So
TikTok live's a little
finicky.
censorship is on there. So, but on here, yeah, we can talk about whatever the hell we want to. So,
right.
But yes, make sure you guys are checking out Presley Tennant. Check out all her socials. Check out her website. Give her a listen. Give her a follow if you like. And
tell her y'all need music sent you.
Y'all need music sent you.
On that note,
on Y'all Need Music podcast.
We're going to get out of here, and we will catch you guys next time.